My name is Dr. John Char. I'm a holistic practitioner, and I'm going to show you the body heals itself. You must have the essence of healing. It's interface with the spiritual energy, mental cognition, emotional behavior, and physical health. And it's all related to the major chakras, which are specialized energy transformers which take in subtle energy and distribute it to the major glands, nerve centers, and organs of the body. Each of the 7 major chakras has a particular emotional and spiritual issues, which affects its proper function. When an individual has a significant unresolved emotional issue in any one of the areas of the chakra, dysfunction may occur. The body's energy anatomy is broken into the central energy system chakra and the peripheral energy system aura. It is the river of healing, and it's the active force which manifests at all levels of existence. The spiritual energy is the highest form of chakra. It's called the causal chakra, and it has to do with healing through prayer, vibrational medicine, has health patterns, and human beings are the dynamic energy system which reflect evolutionary patterns of soul growth. Human consciousness is constantly learning, growing, and evolving. As spiritual awareness of this dynamic process of change becomes more prevalent, there will be a ripple effect that will shift the energetic dynamics of the human race as a whole. Vibrational medicine seeks to reunite the personality with the higher self in a more meaningful, connective way. Vibrational modalities help to strengthen the energetic connections between the personality and the soul itself by rebalancing the body or mind or spirit complex as a whole. Not all vibrational healing tools work at the higher energetic level, but is the intent and goal of the vibrational healer or physician to seek and assist this alignment within his or her patient. We deal with the central energy system, which is the mental chakra, and deals with the mind and thought forms. It's a psychic healing and the soul. It deals with words expressed, voluntary or involuntary, and the pain, inner conflict, ill health, unhappiness. It's the maladjustment on different levels of experts. The cell in your body reacts to everything that your mind says. Negativity brings down your immune system. Then you have the brain, and the brain is thinking, thoughts, clear mental. All different kinds of thought patterns develop in the left brain, and then it transfers to the right brain and the unconscious. So the left brain is consciousness, and the left brain is unconscious or unconscious. Then you have to do with the doctor-patient relationships. In general, most people go to their physician to be treated for their ills without thinking about the need for themselves to somehow change their lifestyle or mind style. The physician-patient interaction is only healing to the extent that there is mutual cooperation, awareness on the parts of both parties. People must take responsibility for their own lives, in part by following the advice of the physician. There's mental illness falls in this category of mental chakra and involves different parts of the brain which either connects the signal from that thought pattern and that causes the mental illness, confusion of the mental illness, and you transfer it over from the midbrain to the frontal brain, where the left brain and right brain is situated. Then the left brain is the conscious awareness, and then when it's jaded by different thought patterns that are affecting it. It combines itself into a complex configuration of retained experience, and then it goes to the right brain. And the right brain keeps it as a habit. And then you repeat it over and over, and when you think about it, the signal is coming from the right brain. And then you keep repeating the experience over and over, and the habit becomes more deepened. And you keep doing it and never goes away. Meditation helps to relax the mind and calms the body. And it helps to neutralize some of the bad experience you had that's retained in your memory. And that helps to clear some of the distractions and obstructions in the right brain that feeds the body's emotional status. The emotional energies are the astral navel chakras, and they are stressors that cause confusion, reasoning problems, memory losses, hallucination, depression, and paranoia. The various biological stresses can be psychological stress, nutritional deficiency, allergenic overload, environment pollution, physical or overexhaustion, extreme temperature variation, microbiologic contamination, drug side effects, low levels of radiation, electromagnetic pollution, geopathic stresses, negative thought energies. Our illnesses may be often a symbolic reflection of our own internal state of emotional unrest, spiritual blockage, and disease. Although there are many external factors operating which have negative effects, these effects are able to create diseases where there is an underlying susceptibility. Our subtle energetic components, so example, the chakra and the meridian system, translate our emotional and spiritual difficulties into a physiological weaknesses, which may eventually result in a localized system breakdown in a physical body, such as a disease. Stress in an emotional astral body can be affecting the mind, the body, the emotions, and behavior. There's all kinds of stresses. It can be physiological, it can be environmental, it can be verbal, it can be body language, all kinds of stresses. But they fall into different categories. And those categories affect the thought process because they can alter the pure thought process. And then when it's combined together, it goes into the left brain as consciousness awareness. And then it translates into the right brain, and the right brain picks it up as a habitual habit. And then it builds upon your incident of remembrance of that particular incident. And then that can cause the body to be dysfunctional in different organs or tissues or in the physiological state. There are misunderstandings are the root causes of much illnesses, distress, and suffering in the world. Often, when we are functioning in a lower aspect of awareness, we are blind to our fears and we project them into the world. But in fact, problems lie within. As I told you, there are many different types of stresses. Acute stress, chronic stress, and it can be linked to many different parts of the brain, and also about the environment we live in, loud noise, or flashing lights, or you fear for somebody who's crossing a crosswalk. Emotional pain or discomfort that comes from anger that is not getting dealt with directly. In the astral world, there's a connection with us with insects, animals, disease process microorganisms such as bacteria, fungus, and viruses. The astral world also deals with everyday emotions, I told you, and it deals with our heart, our true organ heart. It's love. We also attract elemental entities, human and non-human. Some people say they are ghosts. In Japanese, they say opaki. We're entering the etheric and the physical chakras, which are the peripheral energy system. They contain the neural pathways. Also, it goes to the brain and it's affiliated or connected in relationship to the meridians through glion cells or Schwann cells. The etheric and physical chakras are in the lower physical body, and it duplicates reflection of the upper energy bodies such as the spiritual, the mental, and the astral. And any malalignment of energy is in that upper level is duplicated and manifested in a physical body. Body's energy anatomy. We have heard a central energy system and several peripheral energy systems superimposed. There is always an interaction between the central energy and the peripheral energy. The Chinese acupuncture points and meridians are part of the peripheral energy system. This peripheral energy system includes an energy boundary around the shape of our body, similar to that found on the periphery of any geometrical shape, the Earth and its atmosphere, for example. The shape of the body has a sort of energy storage layer, which is the fat on the skin. The fat layer has more than an insulation function that protects the central energy from external factors. It has the ability to accumulate and store information. The internal energy uses the senses and the energy centers, the chakras, to interact directly with all levels of energy in the environment. The peripheral energy system, in turn, are not completely closed to the outside either. They are in constant exchange of information with the outside energy environment. We must have windows. This point brings the information to the internal system to adapt to it to the surrounding environment, and are used in acupuncture to affect the energy flow directly on the organs. However, we must understand that their role is much more important. They are the body's sensors to the outside environment. It is as if I use windows in my house only to look inside the house. We, however, know that these windows' primary function is to look outside. In our body, every organ sends parts of its energy into the peripheral system, the windows, to get information about what is happening outside and adapts accordingly. The peripheral energy systems are not all within the physical boundary. They extend beyond it in a sort of energy field or aura around the body. The peripheral energy includes several superimposed levels. We have the vitality energy periphery and emotional energy periphery and mental energy periphery, and each one of them in turn includes its own sub-level. Now with this information exchange layer, we have the ability to exchange information between the outside and inside of the body, and that is what we will do. Similar shapes enter into the resonance with each other. After studying the body from the physiological orthodox point of view, the Chinese system of acupuncture and the subtle anatomy of meridians, and the Indian system with its energy centers, the chakra, and the energy paths joining them, we discovered the new biogeometrical resonance relationships. This relationship on a multiple level in the organs of our body and are expressed as a linear energy patterns of organ functions that now we call biosignatures. If we put a simple shape into this information exchange layer around the physical body, we will get resonance with corresponding energy patterns of any similar shapes inside the body with the exact geometric configurations. Similar shapes enter into resonance with each other. If my heart has a problem and I bring a model of my heart and put it in my energy field, will this model enter into resonance with the heart? Remember how we tune a musical instrument and every eighth note will resonate. Yes, this model is neutral. However, when it's in my energy field, then it will enter into resonance with similar shaped organs in my body. In other words, I can put a model of an organ in resonance with an organ. With this heart model, we can only correct the peripheral energy of shape going on to the peripheral of the organ. We do not take into consideration all of its internal function. Using an anatomy diagram with internal cross-section, we can then trace the energy patterns of the internal sections of the organ. Refer to Figure A. Here we see the heart, and on the left side of the heart, we see the heart beats. On the center part is a heart balance, which signifies blood pressure, and it's entwined together and it forms a different diagram. And that diagram is called the biosignatures, which transmits energy to the next chakra from the heart. It's important to note that we are producing energy balance of the organ function. We are not speaking of the healing of the organ on a physical level. Biosignatures have an energy balancing effect which supports other forms of orthodox medical treatments or alternative remedies. Sometimes, when the energy is properly balanced, the body can produce its own healing, which can be instantaneous. This should not, however, dilute into us thinking that this is a form of alternative medical treatment. It is still a form of energy balancing, of which is nearer to an environment tuning activity that supports health. It's rather like tuning off a musical instrument. When we look at it in content, it is easy to understand that simple scientific concepts of biosignatures. Here is how a biosignature works. It first starts off with the central energy system, which is the mental chakra, and it calls a coil like here. And then it goes down the pathways to create shape, patterns, colors, motion, and sound. And that usually is in the astral level and down. And then it calls a linear line, which it begins the peripheral energy, which is the etheric and physical chakras. Then it ends up with hitting the atmosphere or the environment, and it causes resonance. Whatever it touches, whatever it sounds, whatever the external object presents itself, it picks it up in a physical body, in man's physical body. And the organ body functions, meridians, acupuncture points, is found in the linear line. And then you can pick it up by doing biofeedback, picking up brain waves, muscle tension, temperature, cardiovascular system, and sleep. Using biosignatures. In order to get good results using biosignatures, it is important that the practitioner has a thorough knowledge of all types of energy flows in the body, as found in Chinese acupuncture meridians, Indian chakra energy system, and other forms of alternative energy healing. Knowing the relationships between the different inner body organs and systems is not good enough. In our case, we must know the language of shape in the body and understand the organ interaction based on resonance of shape. If we already have experience in healing, we can use whatever system, computerized technology, bioimaging, EKG, EEG, radiesthesia, kinesiology. Sometimes we find that the person needs biosignatures that seem totally unrelated to his complaint. This could be for several reasons. One would be that the person might have an undetected problem in the organ function, which could sometimes also be on the energy level and not yet physically manifested. Another reason could be due to the resonance of shapes between organs and organ details. Research has shown us that there is resonance between the organ based on the similarity of their shapes, for example, the ear and the kidneys. While working with biosignatures, we found that sometimes a biosignature for a specific thing also works for something else. The highest chakra is the causal spiritual level, which is the top of the head by the pineal gland. And it goes down to the upper mental and lower mental chakras, which cause mental stresses. Then it flows down to the emotional astral level. And that's where you get all the different characteristics. That was one of the most important chakra there is. And then it falls down to the physical level, where you feel it in your body, the organs, the tissues, and you have signs and symptoms. It proves the signs and symptoms that the doctor can recognize. Another signs and symptom builds up. Signs and symptom going down on the side. So you have a layer of signs and symptoms over the cause. And the cause might be said, well, this is diagnosis that's a cause. It might be a pseudo cause. The energy assessment to alternative protocol. This is not a diagnosis. It's an indicator for clues. So let's investigate the clinical research by developing an evidence-based practice. Healing may appear to be spontaneous or accidental, or to take place as a result of an administration of this or that medicine or treatment. But basically, in all cases where it is really successful, it is due to the achievement or the restoration of the correct relationships between the disease area and the body, between the body and its environment, and above all, between the individual, his body, and his personal relationships. Hence, rest, change of environment, or a complete alteration in mental and attitude will often bring about a readjustment in relationships that results in a spontaneous cure. Slight accidents such as falls or shocks or trivial as a sneeze have been known to initiate a healing process, presumably through the adjustment of tensions affected by that shock. There is much about miraculous cures, but it needs to be emphasized that neither medicine nor any other purely physical type of treatment can bring this about. Although, given the right conditions of time, place, mood, and circumstances, the healing that follows their application may be remarkably swift and complete. The explanation lies in the fact that, whatever the method, healing takes place as soon as the patient becomes reasonably well reintegrated. And life again flows more or less easily and normally between himself and his surroundings. As a natural corollary, it will appear that even a protracted and painful illness may supply the much needed opportunity for readjustment to take place at the interior level. But once the internal disturbance has been resolved, either physical recovery or the dissolution of the body follows, and it may be welcomed as an indication that this lesson has, at any rate for the time being, been assimilated. Watch Holistic Wellness on Olelo Channel 54, first Thursday, 6 p.m., and every Saturday at 4 p.m. YouTube every Wednesday at 1 p.m.